After over 40 years with the LAPD and the last 5 years as chief, Michel Moore is retiring. So what's next for the chief and why now? He's here to tell us. Chief Michel Moore, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, so why now after you accepted a second term?
Well, the timing is right for me, for my family, but also I think for the city. With Mayor Bass's election, we sat down and met, and talked, and discussed the needs of the city, what her ambition, her goals were, and what mine and where I saw the city and the department and what our needs were, and they absolutely aligned. And so I sought a second term, and she was gracious enough, working with the Board of Police Commissioners, to prove that, and she agreed with that. But even then I said that this would not be a full 5 years. And when I provided an exit strategy, I didn't want to say it's going to be a year. I wanted to say 2 or 3 years because I wanted the organization to remain stable. It's never the right time, or it's never the good time, but it's always the right time, has been said. And I thought, now is the right time.
What message do you want to send to Angelenos as you leave the department?
So I would ask them to have a forgiving sense, recognize we are human, that we have limitations, that our efforts are genuine, that when we come into situations that are not of our making, that we have only certain capabilities. We don't always get it right, but part of that reconciliation is that today I think policing is more able to acknowledge that. It is a genuine profession of service, of dedication, of honor, and of integrity. And I think in working together, we'll have a safer Los Angeles.
You mentioned recruitment. The ranks were at a critical level. So what's being done and how much progress have we made?
So what's being done is we've improved our marketing. The city has supported us with added funding for marketing efforts to attract the most qualified applicants. We're in a very competitive job market, not just in here in LA, but across America for policing. And so the monies that have been invested in the city, by the city in us, as well as by the Police Foundation, is now allowing us to advertise and be seen in many more eyeballs and many more people who may be attracted to this profession, and define it in a way that we demonstrate that this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Secondly, the efforts of the mayor in giving us a record contract for the rank and file, a 4-year contract with wage increases that in my time with LAPD I've never seen. She recognized the importance that we be competitive, both financially, both in benefits, but also in our working conditions. And that record investment, I believe, is going to return not just in an effort of attracting more, but also retaining. When we saw the outflows of the organization in the last 3 years, the biggest disappointment was that about 200 officers each year we were losing, not because they were facing retirement, but because they were attracted to other agencies. They're attracted to find what they thought were greener pastures. The mayor's contract and supporting the rank and file, I believe, is making a change. Since the implementation of this contract, we've seen the outflows of individuals that were not forced out because of retirement requirements be reduced by 1/3. And that is an important step forward as we rebuild this organization, is that we not just build our academy classes, but that we retain those employees for their full term.
Let's talk about some of the upcoming events. How is the city and the LAPD preparing for the Olympics, the World Cup, and the Super Bowl that's coming back?
So what's really good about LA is that we are this world-class city that has so many major events on an ongoing basis. We're an entertainment capital of the world. We have some of the highest concentration of major sporting venues and events. We are convention centers, we are business trades, we are all the makings, a very cosmopolitan city in a region that is some 10 million strong. So it's not like this is our first rodeo. So there's some benefit. We have the benefit of just recently having had a Super Bowl. So it's welcoming it coming back in 2027. We had the NFL week here in downtown Los Angeles. We had the hospitalities and so forth, and it worked wonderfully. So, but we're not resting our heels going, well, we've seen here, been here, done that. LA 28, the Summer Games and the Paralympics, will be without match in Los Angeles history, even larger than the 1984 Olympics, in which I was a young officer at the time. It will be a Super Bowl every single day at venues across the region for 2 weeks. And so that is a huge engagement. We have already started our planning and our assessment We have put a planning team together. We traveled to France some 2 years ago to see what Paris and France is doing in their preparation. We took notes. We met with a number of officials and we said, here's where they're at how many days out from their 2024 Olympics. We'll be sending another delegation here in the next month and a half to do a check-in, and then during their Olympics, we'll also monitor, and in the aftermath, see what their lessons are, what lessons have learned.
It's unfortunate that you won't be here for all of this.
Well, it is, but at the same time, to every time there's a season. As I said in my remarks when I announced my retirement, there's an old adage about an hourglass, and I recognize with 42 plus years that there's more sand in the bottom than the top. Again, I've had a wife and a daughter who've invested much to allow me to do this work, and at some point it's time. And in judging this in the balance of my life, I'm proud, I'm humbled, I'm privileged to have done what I've done, but I also believe that it's knowing when to hand that baton. This is work that will never end. And people have said, once you're a police officer, you always are. And I believe that to my soul. Public safety, the pursuit of making a difference in people's lives, of helping and protecting, helpers are helpers. And I know I'll always have that. But at a certain time, at certain stages of life, you got to recognize it's time to turn the page. I don't leave Los Angeles in a lurch. Los Angeles is it's a beautiful city. It's a city on a hill that is that bright beacon of hope. And this department, I believe, is well suited to continue to rebuild with Mayor Bass's support, the council's support, and the public support. I just want to comment on that a minute. We saw this last year, an increasing building of trust and a rebuilding of trust, particularly from the 2020 civil unrest and the injury that the police had with the public's trust. Last year, the LMU study that was released in August showed that other than your local neighbor, the people you trust the most is your local police officer. That wasn't the way it was 3 years ago. I'm proud of that moment. I'm proud because we could have, with everything that's happened to the city and everything that's happened to this department, we could have just retreated back, gone back to our old adage of enforcement, arresting our way out. But instead, we focused on leaning in. What can we do better to bolster and build that trust? What can we do to ensure that reforms are in place, that people see us as protectors, as servants? And it's paying that dividend. The path forward is bright. We haven't fixed it entirely. We got more work to do, so as the city comes into 2024 and beyond, as I leave this position and I hand the reins to the next chief, it's going to be critical that they stay focused on reminding the public that cops count, police matter. The result of what they've seen is not just us alone, but we're a critical ingredient to that success.
Mm-hmm. What else are you proud of?
Proud of the people side. This is a people business. The diversity, we have deepened our ranks with women taking on command and senior positions within the organization. We've deepened our ranks with equity and inclusion of people from all walks of life being a member of this organization and a valued member. I believe that our trust in our community of the police has improved in my time, that our interactions with them in demonstrating our commitment to community policing principles has deepened and emboldened, and the wellness and well-being of our people. We've done everything we can in the most troubling and trying and dangerous time in our history to protect them and to serve them. And then lastly, the stage is set with strategic plans and initiatives that are well on their way to address the full component of what it takes to keep Los Angeles safe. And with that, it is now time to say thank you. It's been a privilege of a lifetime.
All right. Well, Chief Michel Moore, thank you so much for being here. We wish you well in the future as you embark on your retirement.
Thank you.
All righty.